So let's start. So hi, good evening, everyone. So my name is Vishal. I'm the founder of Drapcode. So Drapcode is basically a no-code platform to build and launch custom web applications without writing any lines of code. Right. Before we dive about product, let's see what no-code is. So many of you may not be knowing what no-code development is. So let's quickly walk through what no-code development is. So basically, what is no-code? No code is basically a type of web development that allows non-programmers and programmers to create custom software using graphical user interface without writing any lines of code. They can just use drag and drop user interface, drag and drop components, connect them through configurations, and then build a full-fledged web application or mobile application. So that is no code development. It is quite trendy these days because a lot of people want to build application because of this pandemic, and every process is moving online, moving digital. So there's a huge need of more and more IT resources, and this no code is something which is gaining popularity because of the same reason. Anyone having good analytical skill, good logical thinking should be able to build a full-fledged application rather than relying on developers. Okay, so why we need no code? So as I said, that no code gives a way to people to bring their ideas into shape without learning any programming language. So no code is there for a while, where we must have seen WYSIWYG editors, front page, and there are other tools from Microsoft, from Adobe in the past, but those were very limited to building of front end, building of designing. Now no code has moved a bit forward, where we are able to develop full-fledged web applications or full-fledged mobile apps without coding. What is the problem it solves? So basically, the very basic problem is nowadays software is needed by every business. Like it's quite hard to imagine any business which is not relying on technology, right? But again, there are several limitations. A lot of companies are non-IT companies. They don't know what needs to be done. Sometimes they end up hiring costly programmers, or sometimes they build it themselves. But at the same time, building is one challenge. Another challenge is you need to continuously maintain the application. You need to continuously upgrade the tech stack. You need to continuously make sure that your application is secure, application is scalable, that the data should be accessible only by the people who are authorized to access. So there are a lot of scalability challenges, security challenges, even if you are able to develop it. And development itself is a problem, right? Because for development, you need to have a very good understanding of programming. So these are a couple of challenges. So what is the solution? So we have seen all the challenges. So what is the solution? Solution is a platform where non-coders or coders can go and simply drag and drop elements and then build a full-fledged application, which should be easy to use, which should be easy to scale, and which should be a long-lasting solution, not a typical MVP type that you build something and then you think, okay, it is making sense, let's go and build it from scratch. So solution which should be part of your growth also. Okay. Hence, we built Drapcode, which is a no-code platform to empower non-coders, non-techie to build and launch full-fledged web applications without coding. And at the same time, we also take care of deployment, hosting, security, scalability, and data privacy. So these are a couple of screenshots which we will cover deep in the next few minutes. So a couple of core features. Easy to use interface, cloud database, easy integration. So integration with several third-party APIs. So nowadays, typically application communicate with several third-party application, maybe social media, email, SMSs, and several other third-party APIs, right? After that, there's one-click deployment. So this is the biggest feature. When your application is done, you are done building it, just click a button and it goes live to your audiences. Okay, another big feature we have is code export. So at any point of time, if someone wants to do changes in the code, they can do it themselves. You can deploy it at the infrastructure of their choice. So some of the use cases typically people are seeing for no-code ecosystem are building dashboard, analytical tools, customer support, client portals, where you bring data from several third-party systems and display it at that place. Internal tools and workflow engines, approval processes. Then nowadays everyone has moved their onboarding to online. So whether it's a new joining, new employee onboarding, vendor onboarding, client onboarding, in any sort of onboarding, you can move to online media or digital media. Okay, but a lot of time these onboardings are not very straightforward like Google Forms or Typeform, right? You need a lot of logic or maybe some several integration. So that's why you need a bit advanced platform, like job boards, blogs, forums, LMS, custom CRMs, CMS, APIs, and a lot of internal tools like inventory management, field staff management, client management, and all those things. So I think these are like some of the use cases which I mentioned, but there are like much more use cases which can be built using the NoCode platform. Please feel free to ask if you have any question, just ping, and then I'll be happy to answer, or we can also take it after the end of the webinar. So now let's start and see what all can be achieved through Drapcode. So when you come to the application, it looks like this. Okay, before going inside and creating an account and creating an application, let me quickly show you what type of application typically we can build. Like, so these are a couple of templates. These are the applications which are built on Drapcode. So you can see the interface, the UI, how this looks like. Okay, so this is a template for legal management or legal cases management. Okay, so this is a public website, but here you can have a login, a sign up, and where lawyers can manage their cases. They can keep the information of the clients, update the status, and communicate within the staff. So all these templates are available on our website. So if you once you go there, you will be able to see it. So like total cases, clients, tasks, and then you can view them, edit them, add more data, assign to your team members. So all these are built on Drapcode. Okay. Another template is like LMS, a learning management system. So again, you can build a full-fledged interface, public interface, and as well as the backend where you can organize online classes. You can create published courses. People can view those courses. Teacher can add new courses. Student can enroll to them, watch videos, attend online classes, and do all those things. So all these templates are available to on our website. Okay. This is like we try to create a Reddit clone just to see how this will look. Okay, so let's go back to the platform. So here you can create your account. If you don't have an account, just go and sign up. I already have an account, so I'll use my account. Okay, so this is how you create a project. So basically, this is a dashboard where you lands up when you sign up and create an account. So here you go and create a project. Okay. So I'll quickly create a project. Let's say we want to create let's create an application for employee reimbursement or employee expense claim. So I want to create an application where employees can submit the claims, submit the invoices, and manager can approve and reject them on the basis of how the expense is. Okay, so expense claim. We create a project. Project got created. Okay, now it is asking me to do some configuration. As I said, it's a visual programming. So everything is on the basis of configuration. So let's say I need security in my application. So I can choose, I don't need security, or maybe I can do it later. But let's choose the default settings. Add collection. Okay, so collections are basically type of Excel sheet or a Airtable or a database where you want to store some data. So since we have implemented security, it has already installed login, user and role. So these are two collections where we manage who are the users of the application and what roles they have, right? So you can restrict that which role people can access what. So let's add a collection. Let's say we want to store the data of expense claim. Create, and that's all. Now let's move to plugins. So there are several third-party integrations which we have done, as I mentioned, and some of them are here, but there are a lot more which we'll see a bit later. But yeah, as of now, we don't need any plugins. But in case if you need plugins, just go and install it. You will need to do the configuration. and then proceed. Okay, so let's start building the app. Okay, so this is a quick introduction video, you can watch it. Okay, so I'll give you a very quick introduction that how this builder or this canvas looks like. So here are the components. So all these are like drag and drop UI components which you can use to build your web pages. Okay, so let's say I need a nav bar, then I can just go and drop a nav bar. It is it. If I want to do some changes, let's say I want to change the name to expense, I can just change it. If I want to play around with font, with padding, margin, color, so all those options are here. So let's say if I want to change font, if I want to increase the font size, decrease it, left align, right align, if I want to change the color, so I can do all those things. So this is it. Okay. If you want to revert your changes, you can just undo. So this is a style manager where you can basically decide the style of the look and feel of any component. After that, we have pages. So pages are basically pages of a web application. So our typical application has a number of pages. So you can go and create all those pages. Okay, so these are a couple of pages which got created by default as part of authentication. So you have login page, sign up page, change password, forget password, and all those things. Then comes the collection. So collection is basically a database. If we talk about in technical terms, but if you talk about non-technically, so treat it as more like an Excel sheet where you have a lot of data residing in form of sheets and in sheet in form of row and columns. Okay. Then we have snippets. So snippets are like reusable components where you build something once and then you just drag and drop as and when needed. So let's say I built this nav bar and I want it on several pages. So instead of creating it on all the pages, I can create a snippet and then just reuse it as and when needed. Then we have events. So events are basically a thread, or you can say a connection between the UI layer, which is the pages, and the backend, which is the database. So let's say I want to take certain actions. I want to create a workflow where someone sign up, so send them an email, create their account, approve their account, notify the admin that a new user has been created, and maybe take certain actions, or maybe notify some external third-party system or CRM that a new user has been created. So events are basically a chain of actions which get executed on some trigger. So we'll take a look at it in just a few minutes. Okay. Then we have plugins. So plugins are, as I mentioned, a lot of third-party applications which we have already integrated. So let's say if you want to send email SMSs, then you have Twilio. If you want Google Analytics, you install this plugin. If you need Facebook, if you need SurveyMonkey, so all those integrations are there. So let's say if you want to collect payments, so we have a Stripe plugin, and it's quite easy. You just go and install the plugin, you give the configuration, and that plugin will get installed within the application. Okay. And then few more advanced settings where we have data sources and webhook where you want to communicate with third-party systems. So let's say you want to push your data to some external system, or you want to fetch something from another external system. Okay. So let's go and create this application where we want to manage the expenses of employees. Okay. So the very first thing is start with collection. So first you define how your collection looks like. Then we will design the pages. And then after that, we will connect those collection and pages with the events. So we'll take a look at one by one. Okay. So the very first thing I have is the role. So let's go and see how many roles we have. So by default, system has created a user role. So I will change it to, let's say, employee. And maybe add one more role, a manager. So employee will submit the expense claim and manager will approve or reject it. So we have two roles in the system. So this is good enough. Now let's go to user and see what all configuration it has. So user by default has email, password, and role. Let me add one more field. So let's say we want to capture the name of the employee. So we'll say full name. Okay, and save. So here what we are doing, we are adding fields to the collection. So treat fields more like a column of an Excel sheet. So one column is email, password, full name, and what role he has. Okay. Now let's go to the expense claim collection and see what all columns does it need. So as of now, it has nothing. So let's go and build it. So the very first thing will be a text field, a text type of input where we want to have the title or a name of the expense claim. Okay, save it. Then maybe we'll need another field of type file where I want to basically ask user to upload the actual invoice in the system. Okay, so that manager can see the actual invoice of the expense. So I'll say invoice. Here you can actually restrict that what particular format you want to support, whether it's JPG, PNG, PDF, and all those things. So as of now, I'm just leaving it blank. So we support all type. After that, another thing could be a number, amount of the invoice. So I'll say number. Okay. And after that, maybe a department. So let's say manager want to know that for which particular department this employee belongs to. Okay, or this expense should go. So I'll choose a static option. So we have an option of drop down. Okay, so you can either bring it from database or you can choose static. So basically static means it is coming from there itself rather than coming from some another database. Okay, so I'll choose a static option, department. So let's say department is IT, department is sales, department is marketing, department is accounts. So this is it. And one more option where I want to store the status of this claim. Okay, so we'll call it status. So now the status is, let's say, awaiting, approved, or rejected. And that's all. So now we have created a schema or a collection for expense claim where it has name, invoice, amount, department, status. So we are done with the collection. Now let's go and build some pages so that we can use these collections. So we will create two pages. One will be the dashboard for the employee, where employee, once they log in, they will land on the dashboard. So I'll call it employee dashboard. Here, if you can see, we are seeing access to that, who all can access this page. So that's why we have created roles. So here I can choose that only employee should be able to access. So the person who has an employee role and who is logged into the system will only access this page. Okay, so I'll say employee. So this is one page. And maybe we want to add one more page where employee can create a new expense claim. So let's go and add a page. Create expense. Here we'll choose again employee because employee will be accessing this page. So now we have created two pages. Let's go and build the UI or design them. So first of all, I'll go to employee dashboard. It's a blank page. So now let's do some designing. So maybe we'll drop a nav bar again on the top. After that, maybe some heading. So I'll go and drop the header. So let's say expense claim. Now let's do some designing. Maybe I'll put some space on the top, which we call margin, some to the bottom, and align this text to the center and change the font. So like this. Okay, this is looking good. Now we want to display the data from the database that, okay, what all expenses this employee has put it into the system and what is the status. So now to bring dynamic data or the data from the database, we have a couple of CMS components, a content CMS components, which basically show the dynamic data. All right, as of now, it's just static site. So I'll go and drop a data table. So let's say I want to display all my data in the form of table. So I drop the table. It is asking me to which collection I want to bring the data from. So let's choose collection as expense. Okay, and all items. So basically, as of now, it will display all the records, but we can apply some filters, which is, and you can control that which particular expense claim you want to show here. So we can say, okay, show me only the one which are not approved, or show me only the one which are uploaded by me. right? So we can have all those things, but for now we'll just leave it. So it has created a dummy table which you can align and change as you need. So I'll remove this pagination. We don't need. Employee don't need to take any action, so I'll just remove it. So this looks good. Maybe name towards the left, name, amount, department, invoice, and status. This is good enough. Now let's go and add a button so that employee can add a new expense. So I'll go to the component and drop a section. Section is basically a pre-built structure to design some layout. So let's say I need a 4-column layout. So it has created 1, 2, 3, 4 columns for me. Let's go and drop a link. So link is a type of button which will take me to somewhere on once it gets pressed. So we'll say on click of this link, I want to go to create expense page. So this is my create expense page. And just change the text, add new expense. Okay, and maybe we'll give some color to the button. So I've just applied some CSS classes. You don't have to worry like what these are. Then align it to the right. So now I have created a simple dashboard which has all the expenses which are submitted by the employee, and he can go and create new expenses. So let's go and build this page. Expense. Okay, so this is also a blank page. So we'll do the same thing. We'll drop a nav bar. This is it. And then now we need a form. Okay, so that employee can submit the claim. So again, we'll drop a section. And this time, maybe let's drop a 2-column layout. So it is here, move it to the left. And now we need to submit data using forms. So what we can do, we can go to the form component and build a form. So you can build a form from scratch using all the elements, or there is another smarter way to use collection form, which basically creates the structure of the form on the basis of which particular collection it is coming from. So I'll go and drop the form here, the second column, and then choose the collection. So let's say I want expense claim. So it has created a structure for the form, and it is asking me to choose the event that now what needs to be done once this form gets submitted. So we'll do it a bit later. So for now, let's just complete this form. Okay. So I'll move the form inside the column which we have created. Okay. Okay. Now this looks good. I can change the title to add new expense claim. So we want name of the person, invoice, amount, department, but we don't want status because this is which the manager will control. Employee will not update or create the status. So only manager can do it. And then remove the cancel button. Okay, so now I've created a very simple form where employee can go and just submit the expense claim. Now we need to link this form back to the database. So there comes the role of events. So we'll go to the event and create a new event. So as I mentioned, events are basically chain of actions, and it do the thing what we are telling it to do. So let's quickly do it. Add, or I'll say create new expense claim. Okay. So now start of event, end of event, we need to define the actions. So the very first thing I want in this event is to store the data in the database. Okay, or just store the record. So I'll go to the collection and say save data. So it will store the data in the collection. It is asking me that which collection you want to store the data. So I'll say I want to store in expense claim, which is the collection which we have created for this purpose. Then maybe we want to show a notification that yes, this has been done. We can also send an email to admin and to employee that your expense claim has been received. But for now, let's just show a message. So we'll say show alert message. And successfully. enable and claim. Okay. And maybe after the employee has submitted it, we have received it. Let's redirect the person back to the dashboard. So we'll go to the navigation and say page redirect. So this will take the user back to the dashboard, employee dashboard, sorry. Okay, this is fine. So we have created a very simple event which has 3 actions. So let's go and bind this event to the form. So I go back to my page, which is create expense page, and bind this event to the form. I'll go and just bind this event. So here in the workflow event, you can see there is a new type, which is create new expense claim, which we just created. And that's done. So now we have completed the flow also. So employee can log in, they can see the claim they have done, and they can create new claims. Now let's go and fix the login and the sign up thing, right? So because we installed the default plugin, so we need to do some configurations. So let's go and fix it. So in the login, so this is the event created by the configuration. So we'll say if the user is employee, take him to employee dashboard. That's all. Okay. And we have not created anything for manager, so we'll leave it for now. Only employee is good. And similarly, we have to fix the sign up flow, that what happens when someone sign up. It is asking that user will sign up, send an email, and show alert message. So we'll remove send an email because we don't want to do. In the sign up, we can say whether when the person is signing up, give him the employee role so that you know that, okay, an employee has signed up. Otherwise, if they choose their role, they can end up choosing something else. And then show a message, and maybe after that, redirect them to a login page. A login page. Okay, this is good. So now both of these are fixed. So let's go and see the sign up page, how it looks like. So this is the sign up form which was created by default. So let's go and add one more field to it, which we created later, which was the full name. So I'll go to my collection field and drop one field here. Okay, it is asking me to choose the field name. Okay, full name. So basically my form is created. It has all the fields which I asked for an employee while signing up. And let's go and see how all this system looks like. As of now, we have not created a landing page or the very first page, which is the home page. So let's go and do a very basic designing. Let's go and drop some pre-built layout. So pre-built layout are like the pre-designed components which we have built it so that you can use it as it is. So let's use this one. I'll drop it. It is here, so it has 2 buttons. Maybe let's change this button to create account, and then link it to a sign up page. And this button maybe to login page. Link it to login page. So now we are done. We have created a very simple web application which takes the claim allowed to sign up and log in, and then a manager can approve and reject. So now we can either preview the application or publish it. So preview is more like a draft mode where only the person who is building the application can see the changes. And once you publish it, it is available to everyone who is using your platform. So it is as simple as one-click deployment. You just click one button and it takes care of everything. For creating the code, pushing it to the server, building it, deploying it, and making it live to the end users. So let's publish it. Let's go and see how this looks like. So this is the web application which we just created. So this is the URL which you can share with anyone and they will be able to access it. It is live on the cloud. Okay. So I'll go and create an account. So it is showing me the form which we created. So let's say I'll call it employee1.com and password. Once I click sign up, it has shown me the message and redirected me to the login page. This is exactly what we told it to do. Now let's log in. Okay. So now after login, it has taken me to the employee dashboard, the dashboard which we created. And as of now, it has 0 record because no one has claimed anything yet. And if we go to the collection, we can actually see that a new user has been created. This is the one which we just created. But if you go to the expense claim, it's 0, no data. Okay. So let's go and add a new expense. Here, add new expense claim. Let's say I am an employee and I want to claim for transportation to office, or maybe cab to office on 10th November. Okay, and then I upload the invoice. So let's say I have uploaded an invoice amount, let's say 250 rupees, and then the department that this expense should go to accounts department, and then submit it. So what it has done, it has saved the data, shown me the message, and redirect me back to my dashboard. So here I can see that I have submitted a new claim. And behind the scene, we can create a very similar dashboard for manager, and manager can see the data. So now we refresh, we have this claim with us. So cab to office, this is invoice, amount, and department. Now I can choose to approve or reject it. So let's say as a manager, I approved it and updated it. Now, once employee log into the system again, they will see the status of their claim, whether it's approved or rejected. So as of now, it's approved. Okay. So I think in 15 minutes, we have created a very simple system, very basic thing where a simple workflow where we have built an expense claim system. So this is what exactly is the power of NoCode. So you can build a full-fledged application by just drag and drop of UI components and doing some basic configuration, and it's live. So now this system you can map to your domain, put your logo, and you are ready to use, and then keep adding more and more features as and when needed. Okay, so if someone wants to speak, let me know, and I'll enable the mode. Okay, just raise your hand, and I'll allow you to speak.
Hey, Vishal, what sort of application we can create here?
So any sort of web application where you need login, sign up, or any workflow. I think I've covered in a slide, but yeah. So any sort of web application which interacts with database, which interacts with several third-party systems. If you want to use internally within your organization, you can create, or if you want to launch it as a public-facing app, you can create. As long as it is a web app, you can create, but this is also a responsive web app. So you can also access it from mobile. So whatever design, whatever UI you build works seamlessly on mobile and tablets also.
Like suppose I want to track fleets, I want to track movement of my vehicles. Can I track that?
You cannot track it because track is something IoT where you need to install chip on the device. Yeah, but once the data is coming from IoT device to some server, you can create a dashboard where you can see where your vehicles are and what is the status.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bhuvan is asking, will it work in user level or kernel level program? So as of now, it is working on I'm not sure like what user level, but yeah, it will work on kernel level program. So basically behind the scene, it is writing a programming language only. So behind the scene, there's a lot of coding involved, but for user interface, we have made it similar so that you don't have to worry about what programming language it is and how it works. Does that answer your question? Maybe I'll enable it. So Bhuvan, you can speak if you want. You can ask. Yes, Bhuvan, you can speak now.
OS, whenever we do a program, it runs either in kernel mode or in user mode. There are some features like controlling the hardware of an OS system which is having an OS. Can you control the hardware?
Depends. As it is running on cloud and it is accessing the API, so you cannot control the hardware for sure because there is no such thing. But yeah, if there are some use case where if there's an API available or if there are methods available where like the backend is running in Node.js, if Node.js can do it, then yes, it can be done.
So we need to be online. Offline, it is not.
Offline, it will not work. It can work on intranet.
Intranet. Okay, fine.
This is, we are building browser-based applications.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone? Any other questions? Okay, if we don't have any other questions, so I think we are good now. So we can wrap up, and we'll share the recording with every one of you. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.